Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm joined with our friend Cyrus here with his brilliant Con Air reference on his name.
Right.
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty good, brother. How are you?
Can't complain. So, asked you. You said you wanted to come on, and we're trying to get you on for a while, and you got a certain topic you wanted to talk about. So, lay it on us here.
Okay, so one of the topics that I wanted to speak about. Well, let me say one, but this is the one I wanted to speak about: the controversial issue about abortion. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's, I'm on the side of the pro-life argument because I believe that that life starts at conception, and I believe that life has a right to live. You know what I mean? The same right that I believe that myself and John Anthony has, or that your parents afforded you with having, and so I believe that their life should be protected. I'm not saying like it's just it's just a clump of cells and everything like that. I believe that it's a developing human being, and I believe that even in nature, it's interesting that because of our evolutionary advancement, we're the only ones that advance to actually want to kill what's inside of us. You know what I mean? So it's very distinct than anything else in nature as far as killing what's in the womb. So for me, I say even on because I believe in God. I believe that God, we all are created in God's image, and that life is sacred. So that's where I come from. I'm not trying to force a woman to do anything. Only thing I'm saying is I am for legislation to be enacted that we can either defund Planned Parenthood or get rid of it altogether. You know what I mean? And then that's where I'm at, and I'm hoping that me and John can go back and forth. You know what I mean? With from legitimate arguments from both sides, and let you guys decide. Let you guys decide and be the ones who judge from here. So that's pretty much it right there, John. So
okay. Well, you said a few key things that I found interesting. The first one being that you are for. I'll just go ahead. I won't even bother with the argument. I'll just go ahead and concede for the sake of this discussion that at conception, it's a life.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll do. But you said one thing. The first thing you said, I recall, was you think that this life has the same right to life as you and I do.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you and I have the right to use another person's body to survive?
I don't think we have if we're speaking about you and I, no, you and I don't have that right. I mean, if somebody wants to donate their kidney, then that's be totally up to them. But you're right, we don't have the right to do that, John. Not you and I. Not you and me.
So,
No.
so we're not talking about the same right. Then we're talking about different rights.
Yeah, we're definitely talking about different right because I think the difference is between what you're saying and I don't want to straw man you, but if you're trying to connect this to the potential human being that naturally grows inside a mother,
Well,
you know
no,
what I mean?
it's already a human being, right? At
Okay.
conception, you think it's a human being,
Right.
so that's fine. We'll just go from there. It's a human being. It doesn't have to be potential or anything.
Okay, got you. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm just saying by the comparison I'm thinking that you're doing, it's different between you and me depending on having a right to someone's body versus this aspect of life being a natural mechanism for developing human beings as far as the reproductive system, you know what I mean? So I don't really see the commonality between the two if you were trying to make if you was trying to make a connection between the two.
Well, I mean, we're talking about rights. So
Uh-huh.
if we're going to say that it has either it has the same rights or it has different rights, and we're just going to I would just call it a life. The second it's conceived, it's a life. It's a human being.
Right. Okay.
Same rights as you and I.
Okay. Fair enough.
But in order for you to make this argument, you're going to have to pretty much have it different rights because, like you said, we don't have the right to use other people's body against their will to survive. So if you're wanting to argue for rights, you're going to have to argue for some different rights for an unborn child.
I see what you're saying. Fair
So
enough.
on what basis would you say that it deserves different rights?
I would say on the basis because of the mother. Let me say it like this, John. I think a mother has the responsibility to naturally care, provide for their child, right? If they don't, you know what I mean? It's interesting if a man abdicates their responsibility of caring for the child, what ends up happening to the man? The man ends up having his wages taken. You know what I mean?
Well,
Or
we're talking about something financial now, though.
no. I know, but I'm just saying. I'm talking about not, but with financial, it also comes with responsibility. You know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the woman has a responsibility, a maternal responsibility. You know what I mean? As every other species in nature, you know what I mean, to care for the developing species inside them. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think we are very unique, and I think we're the only species that wants to kill um, our unborn in the womb.
Well, we don't know what other species want. We know what we have the technological capabilities of. They might not. They don't have those, obviously, but we don't know what they want. But to speculate what
Right.
other species might want is not really that's something we can even do. You mentioned about the father, like being able to garnish their wages. Yeah, I would imagine we would do the same thing for like, let's say that the men got pregnant and women didn't. I imagine women would have to pay child support also. I mean, I don't think that would be an issue. What we're talking about is we're not talking about financial obligations. We're talking about someone using someone's body. Like, I mean, financial obligations are very different. Like, I mean, we can already do that to other people. Like, if you owe taxes, they can garnish your wages. I mean,
Right.
this is not just something that's only applies to people when they have children. So, garnishing someone's wages is not that could be, and that can also be assessed equally across the board. Men and women are both capable of having their wages garnished for different, debts that they owe, whether that be child support, taxes, things like that.
Right.
But the thing about
But that's kind of vastly different, though, John, isn't it? You know what I mean? I mean,
it is
yes.
different than using someone's body. Yes.
Well, what I'm saying is this: okay, if the man says to the woman, they have a one night stand, he says he doesn't want to have a child, right? He explicitly states that to her. She, in turns, chooses to have the baby. By virtue of her having that baby, the man is therefore forced to be responsible for that human being. So this is the crazy part, because a woman can decide without a man, without a man, to either choose to keep the child or not. Based on that, she can, if she chooses not to keep it, she's not financially responsible at
But
all.
okay, but so let's just do a hypothetical here. If there were to be a law enacted that if a man just didn't want to be a father and just wanted to abdicate all parental rights, and they couldn't be held financially responsible for a child, and yeah, as long as they sign a piece of paper saying I abdicate my parental rights for this child that's about to be born, I don't want
Right?
anything to do with it. So that now you're fine with abortion as long as they both have equal level of responsibility.
No, no, no. I'm not. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
so
not.
then we're not. So then it doesn't matter then, right? That the financial burden is not really an argument then, because even if we were to remove that, you still wouldn't be in favor of abortion.
No, I wouldn't be in favor. I'm just talk. I'm just shedding light on the hypocritical nature of it.
Well, it's not really hypocritical because we're talking about one being financial and the other being biological. Like garnishing someone's wages is not the same as like taking their kidney.
Well, no, 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 not at all. But John, this is just what I'm saying. The woman has the power to force a man to be responsible, whether it's yeah, so the government is used, you know what I mean, as far as forcing that man to be responsible, right? In contrast, I'm saying that, okay, so how could the woman be, how come pro-lifers are wrong for trying to force the woman to be responsible for the unborn child
But
that's growing inside them? That's
our,
all I'm saying.
our our laws would already force women to be financially responsible for their children also. So we have equal levels of financial responsibility on for both men and women.
I don't know if it's equal, bro. So, but if you're
Yeah.
saying that,
So
I
so
don't
you
agree with that.
I know for you're telling me that women don't have to pay child support.
There are some women who pays child
Okay.
support. Yes,
So that law is applied equally across the board. It's just, in theory, it's both
I get what
both
you're saying.
men and women are subject to child support, to being have to pay child support, right?
Right.
Like if a child goes to live with the father, the mother has to pay child support.
That's true.
Okay, so
It
that's
doesn't
being
happen
done equally.
often, but I hear what you're saying, though.
That's being done equally then. So women aren't like getting out of their financial responsibilities by having a child or anything. They're just as subject to those laws as men are.
Okay, they are.
So, but where the disparity lies is in the biological portion of it.
Okay.
Like, so, I mean, if the child is born and needs a kidney, they can't force the father to give up a kidney,
No, they can't.
but the woman's forced to let the child use her body for a period of 10 months.
Well, think about what you're saying, right? If we use what you're saying, if a person is playing baseball, right, and and the person and they hit the ball, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and they break somebody's window and stuff. The person says, hey, you broke my window. Are they gonna say, you know what? It's not my fault. I shouldn't have. You know what I mean? They know what comes in with playing the game. You know what I mean? A person knows what could potentially happen with playing the game. It's the same thing, with the woman. We say that they're sitting up there playing. I'm not want to say it's a game, but they get involved with, what I mean, with sex, and they know the potential of them getting pregnant is very, very high. Yet they still do it, but they want to abdicate their responsibility after they get pregnant. I don't think that's I don't think that makes any sense.
Well, so there's sex could also result in an STD. Do you think that people should not be able to get treatment for an STD because you go to the doctor like I have syphilis? Well, we can't treat you. You chose to have sex.
Getting treated for STD, I think, is different from um, killing a developing human being. I
It's
think
it's it's different, but you're talking about the
I think it's totally
responsibility
different thing.
portion.
Yeah, I think. Well, the STD that has something to do with the woman. Yes, that's true, but that has nothing to do with killing an unborn child.
Okay, so if we're talking about one action requiring you to, or you think it should require you to have a level of responsibility, then I don't understand why okay, we had sex. Why is it now my responsibility to stay pregnant? I don't see the correlate. I don't see the connection between those two, because I would apply that equally to getting an STD. Now we have that you had sex. Now you had this STD. Live with it.
I see what you're saying about the STD, but like I said, the STD it specifically affects the woman, right? And I think you can make the correlation with saying,
So does pregnancy.
That's where I'm going. But when you're saying pregnancy, it can say you can say that it directly affects the woman, which it does. But what I'm saying is, we have an entity that is grown inside the woman that is distinct from herself. You know what I mean? Once the woman has an STD, the baby does not have an STD. When we're talking about the biological makeup of this being, this unborn child, it has hereditary traits in it that's distinct from the mom. It has hereditary traits
Okay.
from the mother
Yeah.
and the father.
It's a person.
Okay, so
Right.
it's a person. So I would ask you, John, at what point does a person have a right to live versus a right to die?
Yeah, it has the right to live from the second it's conceived. Like I said, it's a person.
Okay, so if that's the case, let's say like this. Let's say there's two women, John, that are both facing the death penalty. You know what I mean? For the same crime. But one is pregnant. You know what I mean? Let's say that the other one passed away because that woman's not pregnant, but they allow this woman to not get the death penalty only because she's pregnant. It's like there is some type of value of the life that's inside that they
Would
don't.
they? Although they still give her the death
carry out the
penalty.
execution. You know what I mean?
They give her the death penalty after she's given birth.
That's possibly.
Okay, so that's not a problem.
But you see what I'm saying? That they value the life.
If she decides she wants to do that, yes.
Okay. So, up to what point, John, are you for abortions? 20 weeks, 36 weeks?
I'm not for any abortion.
You're against abortion.
I would love it if there was never any abortions. That would be great. I'm not for forcing people to not have abortions though.
So you're not for legislation that would get rid of Planned Parenthood.
No, I don't want legislation forcing people to remain pregnant if they don't want to remain pregnant.
Even if it's to protect the life.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Free speech laws.
Right.
We have the right to freedom of speech. That means that just like I can go out and stand on the corner and talk about how I hate, President Trump or something.
Right.
White supremacists can go out there and talk about how they, spew all their crap. Neither one of us are going to have to worry about being arrested for saying these things.
Okay.
So I'm not for what they're saying.
I
I'm
hear you.
for the law that protects their ability to do that.
I totally understand what you're saying. Um, that you're for that, but I will say this to you, brother. Is this we're talking about a human life? I'm not. I don't know if you ever seen like a a video, what I mean, or of an abortion, bro. But it kind of sickens me, you know what I mean. And first they get the vacuum, whatever, and they put it on the uterus, and it takes the fluid that's around the baby, it sucks it out. But then they got what they call a sulfur clamp, which has spikes at the end, and then they put it in the uterus, and they start ripping the baby apart, right?
Okay. So the method, so let's just say there was a way to just like, they had a machine that just put the baby to sleep and it dissolved into thin air magically.
Mm-hmm.
And it was completely painless and there was no, it wasn't messy. It wasn't anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're still not in favor of abortion though.
Well, see, that no, because I'm
Okay.
pro.
So
I'm pro life.
then the method doesn't matter then.
The method does matter, bro. It does. So think about this. Think about this. That's almost equivalent to saying that, okay, if Hitler wanted to wanted to gas someone or put them in ovens versus just smother them with pillows. The methodology of killing someone still doesn't make it right.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
I agree. So it doesn't matter how it's done. It's just we're talking about the actual ending of the life.
Yes.
Yeah, whether Hitler put them all to sleep and it was painless and everything else, it was still wrong. I don't care. That's what I'm pointing out. The method doesn't matter one bit.
I hear you. Fair enough.
So describing something that we deem as horrific and that we like, oh, this is horrible. Something we wouldn't want to see. I wouldn't want to see someone put to sleep and dissolved either.
Right. I agree with
So,
you.
I mean, it's that really what we're talking about though is we have two people
Right.
and we both agreed that unborn child is a person. So we have two people and they both have rights.
Yes.
We've already agreed that I don't have the right to use someone else's body against their will. Why does the unborn child deserve that right?
I believe that they deserve that right because they have a life and they have a right to live. You know what I mean? The mother's body is already designed to to provide them with care. You know what I mean? It's just a natural mechanism of the evolutionary reproductive system. So I believe that they have that right because they are a person, and because it's a person, you know what I mean. Um, I
Well,
think it's. Go ahead.
being a person does. You and I are both persons, so I don't. We don't. You and I don't have that right.
No,
So
there's no way that you and me can go back inside of our
no,
mothers
we could.
and rely
Well,
on
no.
on their
In
on their on their on their bodies. You know what I mean, to
no,
help
in
us.
theory, we could like hook someone up to another person and use their body to survive.
But hear what I'm saying. Yeah, you could do that, but that's not the case with you and I. What I'm saying is, if a woman has a natural maternal instinct to care for what's growing inside them, right? If I me as a father, if my baby was here and the mom was somewhere else, if I didn't provide shelter, a place to live, and give the baby food, what would happen to me? I would get arrested, and the system, the government, would take the baby away from me if I don't do that. But
That
the
that would
mom, but
that
the
would happen
mom
if
can,
you had a
the mom
dog
can
too, though.
abdicate that same responsibility, the same one, not
No,
provide the necessary sustenance for the baby, not provide shelter for the
no.
baby, her womb, and
Uh-uh.
then nothing happens.
That's not. No, that's not the same thing. If a
I
female
thought it
does the
was.
same, if a female does the same thing you just described, where the child is already born and does that, the same thing happens to her.
But brother, if you look at it, John, it's the same parallel as far as you're talking about. Okay, after they're born, we considered that I deserve to go to jail. Okay, and then the mom deserves to go to jail. But if she doesn't do it while the baby's in the womb, you're totally okay with that. That doesn't make no sense to me.
But a woman is not a an incubator.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is she can abdicate the fact that of her responsibility of providing shelter and food to that developing human being, whether it's in her womb or outside. How come we have to wait until when the baby is born
Ah, ah,
that that I have to that I have to I abdicate my responsibility,
yes.
then I can get arrested. But when
Now,
the woman does it, when the woman does it,
no, I'll explain that. You hit
okay,
that's
explain it.
you asked
I
you
want to
asked
hear
the
this.
right question. You asked the right question.
Okay.
Why is it that I have to provide these things once it's outside of the womb, once it's born, but we don't? But I don't have to provide it, or the woman doesn't have to provide it when it's in her womb. Why can she choose here and not choose here?
Right.
The very good point, because bodily autonomy is no longer violated.
Right.
So the reason I can, the reason same reason a woman can, or anyone can't shoot someone on the street, but can shoot them if they are in the process of like raping them or something.
Uh-huh.
They're violating their bodily autonomy.
Right.
Once bodily autonomy is not an issue, now we have like a reasonable standard, a reasonable set of expectations.
Okay. Well, I I think, and this is just my opinion, John, when I think for the pro-choice argument, I believe that the bodily autonomy is one of the worst arguments for the pro-choice.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So because when you say bodily autonomy, it's kind of like it's almost a self-refuting argument because you're willing to violate the bodily autonomy of the unborn child. You know what I mean? In
Yes.
order to make and for the sake of the woman. See what I'm saying? So you really don't
The bodily,
you,
but
you're prejudicial about bodily autonomy. Whose
oh
bodily
no.
autonomy?
Okay, I see. I think I misspoke there.
Okay.
So if someone's killed, if a rapist is killed committing an act of rape,
Okay.
they're violating the bodily autonomy of somebody. If they're killed doing that, are you violating their bodily autonomy also?
If if
If you
okay,
killed if you kill a rapist while he's violating someone's bodily autonomy, or he or she, I don't say he, while they are violating someone's bodily autonomy,
mm-hmm.
if you kill that rapist, is that a violation of their bodily autonomy?
No, that's me. No. Let me give you a yes. I mean, I got to give you a straight yes or no answer on that one. So, no, I don't think I'm violating their bodily autonomy for trying to save a life.
Well, I didn't. I only think they weren't trying to kill the person. They were just trying to rape them.
Yeah. Well, but you said are you saying why the person is getting raped and I come in and I killed that rapist?
Or let's say the person being raped kills the rapist.
Okay, fair enough. Is so for this argument to make sense, John, we would literally have to say that are you equating the unborn child to a rapist or no?
Well, it's a violation of bodily autonomy. Both in both instances, you have one agent violating the bodily autonomy of another agent.
Okay. But listen to what you're saying though, bro. So you're we know when it comes to rape, you're implying intent of the person doing something to the victim unknowingly and surprising them and doing it to them. That is not the same for an unborn child. The child did not choose anything at all. The mother chose. The mother chose. She made a choice. You know what I mean? There is no choice here. See, there's a difference between the rapist, because see, the rapist is choosing. You know what I mean? There is no choice for, like I said, for the unborn child. So I think that's where the argument kind of breaks down. You know what I mean? For you, I mean, when you're speaking about the bodily autonomy for either the mother or the rapist, because the mother in the rape, the mother may not have chose to be raped, but the mother have chose to have sex. You know what I'm saying? So she put herself in something that she knows that can give her a potential life inside her. You know what I'm saying?
Well, choosing to do something that you know could result in something else is not consent to that possible action.
Okay.
That's not the same. I mean, there's a great example given by Tracy Harris one time,
Mm-hmm.
where if I choose, I know that home invasions happen, right?
Right.
So if I know that home invasions happen, and I choose to stay home, and someone commits a home invasion on me, is me choosing to stay home consent to be having a home invasion?
No.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, but I know that's a possibility. I know that if I stay home tonight, that there's a chance someone could kick in my door and, rob me and hold me at gunpoint. But I still choose to stay home. It doesn't mean I consent to that happening.
No, you didn't. You didn't consent to it happening, right? But if you're like me, John, I think that you have some form of self-defense mechanism in your house. You know what I mean? So you're already thinking about the possibility
Oh, I
of
like
someone
that.
coming to your house. You know
Okay,
what I
I
mean?
like that.
You know.
Abortion is a self-defense mechanism.
Well, I couldn't quite say that because
It's exactly
clear.
what it is.
So, well, you're saying it's a self-defense mechanism, but like I said, you listen to what you're describing. Each case that you're describing, each analogy that you're describing requires force. This is the problem. Okay, the rapist is forcing himself on the one who's raped. Now you're talking about the house and someone breaking in. It all both analogies require force. What I'm trying to say to you is that the baby did not force itself on the mom. It did not. You know what I mean? It did not.
It's a person now. We've already agreed it's a person.
No, we agree. We agreed on that. But what I'm saying is, with your analogy that you're using, you're implying force, brother. That's what you're doing. What I'm
Okay.
saying to you, the baby is not forcing itself on the mother, because the mother had to do something prior to in order to get impregnated.
Yeah, I had to stay home to get home invaded.
Yes, you have to stay home. But you know what? As wonderful as your home may be, I don't know if it's enjoyable as having sex. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I mean,
I'm sure you got a beautiful home. I'm sure you do. You know, I'm just saying, though, regardless of how comfortable your couches are, it's different than physical intimacy. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I think somebody in the chat was saying that a fetus is not a person. I would have to disagree with that person.
yeah, we already agreed to that for the sake
Oh,
of the
okay, for the sake.
conversation.
Okay, but I'm just saying for them.
It doesn't.
Okay,
Yeah, I
they
mean,
probably came in at the tail end. Okay, no
that's fine.
problem.
It doesn't matter like whether or not I think it is or not. I'll just go. I went ahead and agreed to that anyway. So, um, yeah, but I mean, like I said, one action. You're saying that this action is consent.
Mm-hmm.
Consent to sex is consent to pregnancy. Essentially, is what you're saying.
That's essentially what I'm saying.
Okay. So, but like I said, so you have a problem with the analogies because you have one agent who is having an intent. You have a problem with the intent of the person raping someone. That's someone having an intent. The person doing the home invasion, that's someone having an intent, and the child doesn't have intent.
No, the child doesn't have any intent.
So how is it a person?
How's it a person? Because it's a human being.
Okay, so if it has no intent, if it's not making any choices,
No.
are you aware of? Okay, well, we have human beings that don't make choices, so that's
Right.
fine. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, because if you're gonna go down that route, then what did is a person who's in a coma, do you suspend their personhood because they're in a coma?
Right. So now we have but now we have special rights for people who can't make choices.
Right.
So the person in the coma, do they get to use someone else's body?
No, they don't get to use it. But you're not gonna sit up here and say that it's okay for someone to smother them with a pillow, are you?
No, there's no bodily autonomy violation either. If there was a bodily autonomy violation, I might.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. Okay. Um so you might. That's interesting.
If there was if they were violent, if someone in a coma could somehow violate someone else's bodily autonomy, then yes, it would be justifiable for that person whose bodily autonomy is being violated to take whatever actions necessary to stop that violation. And if that included killing the person in the coma, then and that's what had to be done. Then that's what had to be done.
Okay. Um do you how many weeks does it take for the unborn child to have a heartbeat?
It doesn't matter. We've already agreed that life begins at conception.
Okay. So
It's a human. It might as well be a fully formed human at conception for the purpose of this discussion.
okay. And you
It's just
and
inside the mother.
I know you said you- you're not for abortion, but you're not for forcing people to have their children.
Right. I think access to birth control, access to uh, you know, proper sex education, all those things are great preventative measures. We could prevent unwanted pregnancies. I also think that we should also have measures for things that I'm not particularly fond of, like abortion. I think we should have those available also. I'm not a fan of them. I don't think they're good. I I have my problems with them, but I'm not going to tell other people that they can't do this because of how I feel about them.
So regardless of how you feel, if a woman wanted to abort their child at 8 months, you say that's totally her choice.
What's the difference in a child at 8 months and a child at 1 week?
I think
It's still a life, right?
to me it's still life.
So then then their organs, how much they're developed, none of that matters then.
I think it does, John.
Well,
And
so it's different. So if abortion at 1 week is not as bad as an abortion at 8 months.
the overall, yes, you're taking a life. I hear what you're saying. But I think, like I was telling you about the
So
surgical abortion, is
hold
it's
on,
pretty inhumane, bro.
you got to inhumane is we already agreed to that earlier that the method doesn't matter. The method's not a because you said it, even if we could do it painlessly and without any inhumane tactics at all, you'd still be against it because it's ending the life. That is the thing you have a problem with, is the ending of the life.
Yes, the ending of the life. Just, I mean, if you look at it, we used to have, capital punishment here in California. You know what I mean? We used to have the electric chair, but now they stopped that because it was so inhumane. You know what I mean? And then we had the gas chamber. You know what I mean? They give another subtle way to kill. You know what I mean? People that are on life. I mean, that are on death row. Now they totally got away with. I mean, got rid of the death penalty because they think it's just inhumane just to be killing human beings. But the mechanism of what we do for the unborn children and giving women a license to do this. You know what I mean? When our government has a common sense to value human life.
But again, you're talking about killing people who aren't violating bodily autonomy.
Yeah, but you keep saying it's a violation. There is. I think the argument breaks down because you cannot violate someone who willingly had sex. You can't violate. That's not a violation.
No, the child is
It's
the child inside
being
them is violating.
irresponsible. It's being
No,
irresponsible.
the child inside them is violating the bodily autonomy of the person that has the womb.
Hear me out. When we're speaking about violation, if a woman engages in sex willingly, you mean to tell me, and if she used no type of contraceptives whatsoever, that man ends up placing his sperm inside her, that is not a violation of anything.
No, that's not a violation.
Of anything.
That she consented to have sex.
Yes, she did.
That's not a violation because there's consent.
Yeah, so she consented to have sex. How did the baby end up being subject to saying that it's violating the choice of the willing?
The fact that the child is inside her is the violation if she does not consent. If she consents, it's not a violation. If she consents to be pregnant, it's not a violation.
Wait a minute, brother. If she consents, okay, so she can consent to the sex, which is one of the main reasons why anyone gets pregnant. You know what I mean? But you're trying to distinguish that from the fact that you have to use sex to get pregnant, then say, okay, she didn't choose to get pregnant, but she chose to have sex? That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, she didn't choose to get pregnant. She can choose to have sex. Sex does not always lead to pregnancy.
No.
Okay.
Because if that was the case, you and I would probably be having 40 kids or something.
Right.
You know?
So you can choose to have sex without getting pregnant, right?
Yes, you can choose.
So you can also be. So then it's not consent. One does not automatically follow the other.
No, but I know and you know that if we choose to have sex and if we're not being responsible, we can potentially get someone pregnant. That's just a fact.
If I eat meat that's undercooked, I know it's a chance I could get a tapeworm. That doesn't mean I'm responsible for letting the tapeworm live inside me.
Well, if you ate some uncooked meat, yeah, you are responsible for that. So to put yourself in a position to even argue that a woman is no longer responsible to care, provide shelter for their offspring is amazing to me, John. You know what I mean? It's like I said, especially when that never happens in the animal kingdom. I would have to say, who in the hell did we evolve from? You know what I mean? Because whatever we evolved from doesn't do the stuff that we do. You know what I'm saying? We're the only ones that kills. We're the only ones that kills are young in the womb.
We're the only ones that have cell phones too. So what? I mean, that's
right. Okay.
I mean,
we're the only ones that have cell phones. Fair enough. But still, cell phones is different, bro.
It's technology.
I hear you what you're saying, but what I'm saying is this: as far as the natural development and the reproductive system, we are unique. And if anyone who prescribes to say that we're just modern apes, I've never heard an ape ever kill their young inside their womb. They don't do that. We're in a special class because we want to kill ours. And ever since the passage of Roe versus Wade, it's been over 52 million abortions. 52 million, bro. And if you look at that and compare that to the 6 million people who died during the Holocaust, it makes the Holocaust look tame. It does. You know what I mean? But people like
the Holocaust was carried out by a very small number of people. Also, on a certain people, who also those people weren't violating anybody's bodily autonomy either.
But bro, you say a small. I bet you the people who carried out the Holocaust. I bet you there even a smaller amount of people who carry out abortions through the Planned Parenthood. But they have a significant more number of the
Well,
people
no, no,
unborn children that's killed.
Planned Parenthood isn't going around giving abortions to people that don't want them.
You're right. I know. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
So Planned Parenthood isn't aborting anyone. It's the woman's choice.
Yes.
So let's not blame Planned Parenthood on this. They're not giving anybody abortions that don't want them.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a huge part of their funding. You know what I mean? Don't you know that when a person goes over there to abort their child, don't you know that Planned Parenthood will not allow the woman to have an ultrasound because they don't want her to potentially want to change her mind.
Do they deny her an ultrasound if she wants one?
I don't think they even offer it, bro.
Could the woman leave and go get an ultrasound if she wanted one?
She could.
Okay, so they have policies that they don't do for certain reasons, but they're not restricting the ability of the woman to go get an ultrasound.
No, they're not. But what I'm saying is, if we're gonna be looking out for women, why not? It costs nothing, right? Really? It costs more to get the abortion than it costs to get an ultrasound. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Why not allow the woman before she makes this choice, allow her to see her own child and see the child's heartbeat?
She's allowed to do that.
But not in Planned
Parenthood. So you're upset that Planned Parenthood doesn't offer a specific service?
I think that would be nice, bro. And I think we wouldn't have these staggering numbers.
So if they gave him an ultrasound, you would be okay with abortion?
No.
Okay, then. So it doesn't matter.
Well, you keep saying it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Ultrasounds don't matter. Why are you bringing it up?
I think this is what I think. I think that Trump potentially will fill the courts with pro-life judges and will possibly overturn Roe versus Wade. You know what I mean? Possibly. And I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? If he does that, we can potentially overturn Roe versus Wade. You know what I mean?
And you see that as a good thing?
Yeah, of course. If I'm pro-life, you already know that. Yes.
Would you be okay with overturning free speech?
No.
Why not?
It's free speech. That has nothing to do with protecting my life.
No, you're in favor of all speech that's out there.
Am I in favor of? I feel that everyone has a right for free speech. Yes.
Are you in favor of like the speech that like the KKK would have? Like as far as that, you're a fan of that kind of speech?
I'm not a fan.
Okay, I'm not a fan of abortion either, but I am a fan of human rights. I am a fan of someone's right to bodily autonomy, just like I'm a fan of someone's right to free speech. I may not like what they do with it. I may not be comfortable with what they do with it.
Uh-huh.
It may make me uncomfortable, but I'm still a fan of their right to do so.
But when you say bodily autonomy, it's not her body.
It is her body. It's absolutely her body.
No,
Where's the child? Where's the child?
Let me say it. In her stomach. Hear what I'm saying though. Only thing what I'm saying is that when a child grows a penis, does a woman grows a penis too?
No.
Does the woman grow a penis if she has a male?
No.
Okay, so it's not her body. It's not her body that she's killing. She's killing someone else's body. You know what I mean?
That is inside hers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but like I said, like I was saying to you earlier, is that if the baby was born, you would have to take care of the child and provide shelter, food, and provide for that child once the baby was born. How come that cannot be the same when the baby was inside. That's the same thing I was saying. We're right
Okay,
back
well
there.
let's do the. But you already agreed that the financial equivalent isn't the same as the biological equivalent, because if we're gonna extrapolate on the biological equivalent and say the woman has to provide her body for food and shelter and survival of the child when it's in the womb. Now when it's born, the male should have to provide a kidney, tissue, whatever, blood, whatever the child needs against his will. If or are you okay with that?
No, no, I'm not okay
Why
with
not? That's what. So the woman has to provide her body. Why does the man have to provide his body also?
because I think it's different because I think uh, the baby's body is not biologically attached to mine's, right? It's not.
Oh, okay.
So it's not. So
So you
there's
agree that there's
there's a fundamental difference between the two. You know what I mean?
yes.
Nevertheless, the mother the mother still naturally has to care for the child. But no, nowadays the woman doesn't have to do it anymore. She can choose. She
Well,
can
apparently
choose.
neither does the man.
No,
According to
that's
you, the
not
man
true.
doesn't either. The man doesn't have to give it if the child needs a kidney transplant. The man's not responsible for that.
The man's not responsible for that. But like I said, the man can get. We can go to jail. The woman can go to jail if we didn't provide shelter and
Yes,
food for our child, right?
financial stability, uh, financial support. Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. So we we know, I mean, well, doctors know that, I mean, that a girl's ovaries starts to develop, um I think at like the first week or second week, right? So in places like, I want to say, oh, in what is it? In India, excuse me, India. So places like that where having a male being born gives you status in your community. Are you for, like, would you support a woman's right to choose to abort their child if she can find out that it's a girl, and that she just aborts your child strictly on that reason?
I don't care what their reason is. Just like I don't care why the Klan is talking about white supremacy on the corner. I don't care what their reason is. Their reason doesn't matter. I want them to have the right to free speech. I want them to have the right to bodily autonomy.
AKA body autonomy, all meaning translating to the right to kill,
The right to
the
decide
right,
what happens to and inside their own body.
which is the right to kill a human being, a potential human being. That's what
Yes,
you're saying.
if their bodily autonomy is being violated, and the only way to stop that is to end that life, then that is their right.
Okay, like you say, so you're against abortion personally, but you're for the right, but you advocate for the right for a woman to choose
Yeah,
that.
if there was an on off switch that women could just turn it off, they didn't want to get pregnant, and they turn it on when they did. Yeah, that'd be great. We don't live in that kind of world, so that's why we need things like birth control and Plan B and all that kind of things. I mean, that's another thing. If woman took the morning after pill, is that an abortion?
If they took the morning after pill, um, I don't know, because don't some people take the morning after pill without even being pregnant?
Sure, probably.
Okay, so what I would say, if a person knew that they were pregnant and
You
took
can't
the
know you're pregnant at the day after. There's no way.
Okay, so then it's kind of hard to say that. Then you will never know. That's always 50-50 then.
So,
But I'm saying it
but
would be an abortion. It
yeah,
would be. It would be because you're killing what's inside you.
but it's not grotesque or anything. It's not like they're not ripping the baby apart or anything like that. It's
Yeah,
you had problems with that. So
yeah. It's almost similar to. No, it's not similar to. I was about to say smothering someone in a coma. That's totally not. It's totally different than that. You're right. It would stop that. You know what I mean? It would. But I, like I said, because I value life, so I think that it's wrong personally. You know what I mean? Only because I do value you know what I mean, the life of the potential human being.
Well, if a woman's able to get pregnant and use a condom, that's also preventing life.
No, that's being responsible. That's being sexually responsible. Versus now, if there's a difference versus me wearing a condom and then versus me not wearing one.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
so if you didn't wear the condom, she would have gotten pregnant. You just prevented that life from taking place.
no, it's just me being sexually responsible. That's what it is. And this is what I'm saying.
No,
Come on.
that's a life. That's a life that could have happened. You just prevented a life from. You just prevented that kid from being born.
No, 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 no. That's me being sexually responsible, and I'm
You
gonna say this.
prevented that life.
There's no way that you get to the staggering number of 52 million abortions by women who are all sexually responsible. You don't get to that number. You know what I mean? There's a lot of
Women who are
irresponsibility.
sexually responsible.
There is a lot of irresponsibility with that number. And then
So
they
it's the
say
woman's fault.
they call them they know what they call it, John. They call it convenient abortions. That's what they call it. There's more people having convenient abortions versus having abortions saying that, oh, it's because of the life of the woman's at stake and stuff. You know what I mean?
I
And
don't
then
care why
there's
they do it.
this new argument about bodily autonomy when it's not her body. You know, so
If bodily autonomy isn't an issue, then why can't we have your kidney?
why can't you have my kidney?
Yeah, if your child needs your kidney, we should be able to take that from you, whether you want it or not.
I'm coming back. No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Okay. I got about like five minutes more.
Oh yeah, no problem.
For I sleep on the couch for a second night.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you can like make you make like a closing statement if you need to go or something. That's fine.
Oh, okay. So you gave me a lot. You gave me a lot to think about. I know this is a very controversial issue. I thank you for allowing me to be on your show to express my views on this very, very difficult topic and everything. Thank you for being respectful. And
Oh, no
you know,
problem. Thank you.
I always respect that about you and stuff. Even though I know we go at it a little bit back and forth online.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
You know what I
That's
mean?
fine.
It's all love, bro. But I would say, as far as my closing statement, I do believe that a potential life all has the right to live and not the right to die. So that's my belief. I'm sticking with that. So that, I mean, that's just what I believe. So I'll hear your closing statement, John. Then I guess we'll conclude.
Oh, I mean, I'm fine. Basically I'm for bodily autonomy. I'm for rights that to choose what happens to everyone, to have the right to choose what happens to their body, inside their body, and if it's preventable, if there's methods we can take to ensure that bodily autonomy, I think we should have those, develop more of those, and any imposition on someone's bodily autonomy that they don't consent to is a violation. So I believe that violations of bodily autonomy should be, if we can deal with them, we should have the right to do so.
Fair enough.
That's it. Thank you for coming by.
Hey, man, thank you, fans, man. Thank you, John Anthony, man. I appreciate you, bro. I'm gonna be subscribing to you got a YouTube channel or no?
Yeah, I got one. I'll shoot you the link, and it's the link's in the in your messages that I sent you. So
okay,
you
all
go
right,
to the.
I'm gonna go ahead and subscribe right now.
Well, thank you, bro. All right. Well,
all right.
We're gonna wrap it up here. Thank y'all for coming in. If you're watching later, we appreciate. Like and subscribe, hit the buttons, and we'll see you next time. Thank y'all.
All right, brother. Take care.